Peace and love, everyone. Peace and love, everyone. Welcome. Especially to you folks who are watching by recording. I'm going to let this run out a little bit here to see whether, all right, so maybe we're live. Hey, Martin in Los Angeles. Got a bunch of West Coasters with us this morning. Hi, Pat. Good morning. So, there's a car going by, but you can hear the birds. I think. Can you hear the birds? My outdoor speaker. I'm going to leave them on for a couple minutes here. See how it goes. Turn them down when it's necessary. Thank you, Peter. Happy to be here. It's getting chilly here. Yeah, it sure is getting chilly here too. Thanks everybody for being here this morning. Peace and love to you all. To introduce myself to people who don't know me, you hear the birds? I'll keep them playing. There today we have a black-capped chickadee, blue jay, robins. Hey Ken, Ariane. Hi, Ariana. Sorry about that. Great, nice to hear the birds. I'll leave them on as much as I can. If you listen, you might hear crickets. I love hearing the crickets. So peace. I'm Peter Panagore, and I welcome you to Not Church, live and by recording. Profound mysticism, East and West, ancient and modern, through the lens of my near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, Kundalini Awakenings, union experience, scholarship, and a lifelong yoga meditation practice. I think I've been going too far away from something that's a little more solid for people in my talks recently. I think we're going to bring Jesus back in a lot more because I think people need the context of it. I think I've gone a little far afield. Let me know if you think I have gone far afield. I'd appreciate the feedback. But today's topic, finding your eternal life, exploring the similarities of transcendence and immanence of the divine oneness across ancient mystical traditions, including Jesus, how to use it, and what it means to you. Last week, we began talking about this. We're picking up where we are today, where we left off a little bit. So welcome to everybody. Peace. Today, we're picking up where we left off last week, discussing transcendence and immanence through mystical experiences, because that's the only way you really can understand it. Well, you can conceptualize it and talk about it, but the experience of it is the thing itself, or pretty darn close to it. And last week we touched on the teachings of Meister Eckhart, the Bhagavad Gita, and my near-death experiences. And today we're going to be broadening our focus to include Neoplatonism, Jesus, Yeshua, Kabbalah, Sufism, Taoism, mystical experiences, and what's in it for you? What does this all mean for you? Why bother knowing about any of this stuff? What's the difference between Jesus, what Jesus knew, and all the other mystics? Is there any difference? Is there any difference between what Jesus knew and all the other mystics? There's nothing different, as you'll see. So let's take a brief moment here. I'll turn down the outdoor microphone. Hope it's not too loud for you. Let's take a brief moment here to center ourselves with meditation and practice what matters most. Goodbye, outdoor world. Goodbye. Goodbye. All right, my feet are flat on the floor. My hands are in this shape. They're on my desk today. Chair's in kind of tight to the desk, so I ask them on the desk. Go through a few breaths here, just to calm, bring yourself into the center, connect with each other through the ethers. Breathing in. So, as we begin, consider this. Ancient mystics from different cultures, speaking different languages, including Jesus, Yeshua, all describe strikingly similar experiences of reality, capital R, beyond comprehension and present in all things. Beyond comprehension and present, transcendence and immanence. And these spiritual traditions start with somebody's direct mystical experience, not belief, direct mystical experience, and they offer powerful insights into life, understanding who we are and how to live. In Neoplatonism, Plotinus, and the One. In Neoplatonism, primarily through Plotinus, we encounter the One, the One, the One, the big O, the One, a transcendent source from which all things come, like Brahman in Hinduism that we talked about last week, and the Godhead in Christian medieval mysticism, or as Jesus says in the Gospel of Thomas, Luke and John, but in Thomas, singleness. And we covered Luke, John, and Thomas previously in other videos. The Platonist one is beyond all human comprehension. Yet it's the ultimate cause, capital U, capital C. It's the ultimate cause and essence, capital E. It's the ultimate cause and essence of all creation, the whole universe, all the time, everywhere, always present, and the tiniest quantum particle, and in everyone you meet. This parallels Brahman's role in the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita as the universal source, capital U, capital S, the universal source of all existence. The supreme self, capital S, of every self. Now, populist Christianity, they're incorrect about this in every way. Okay, 2. The Kabbalah. Oh my God. The Kabbalah. In the Kabbalah, it's called the Ein Sof. E-I-N-S-O-F. Ein Sof. And the Kabbalist idea of the Ein Sof, it meaning the infinite, is also strikingly similar to Jewish mysticism. I mean, the Ein Sof in Jewish mysticism is strikingly similar to Brahman and Plotinus. Rabbi Israel ben Eliezer, like Brahman, or the One, Ein Sof is the incomprehensible source of all creation, beyond form and limits. Yet it emanates into the world. It is transcendent and immanent, just as Brahma and Allah, if you remember from the Aramaic and the Jesus Aramaic, just as Brahma and Allah do throughout all of creation. It's the same thing. It's in mystical Judaism, Hinduism, and Christianity. So this rabbi, he's known as the Baal Shem Tov. That's how he's known. But he's a rabbi, and his revolutionary practical contribution taught that spirituality isn't reserved for scholars and mystics alone, but for every Jew, for every human, through joyful worship, prayer, acts of loving kindness. Anyone, through those things, as we talked about in the Yoga Sutras on Tuesdays, through action, karma yoga, through action, through loving kindness, anyone, everyone can connect directly to the infinite with a capital I. In Sufism, al-haq means the truth or the real. You've heard near-death experiencers talk about the real. I talk about the real, capital R, of course. That al-haq, the real, represents the divine essence permeating all creation. It's the truth permeating all creation, which is the immanence of the divine, which I saw in my first NDE as light pouring out of the infinite darkness, and the light creating and permeating all creative things, all creation, everything there is in the entire universe. Same thing. Sufi mystics such as Rumi describe a journey toward union with the divine truth, whom the Sufis call the beloved. Me too, my beloved, which mirrors the merging of the lower self, the Atman, your soul in Christianity, with Brahman, the highest reality. And also similar to Meister Eckhart's teaching on the dissolving of the self into the Godhead beyond the light, to the most beloved. These ideas permeate globally, historically. It's in the literature. And what do they tell us to do? They tell us to dissolve ourselves to find ourselves. In Taoism, the Tao Te Ching, the Tao, the way, it means the way, which we find similarly in Christianity, early Christianity, they called it the way. The Tao represents the ultimate principle, the capital U, capital P, the ultimate principle that flows through and underlies all existence, just like Jesus' singleness, and make them all one so that they are one like you and I are one in the Gospel of John. Brahman and the Godhead. The Tao cannot, just like them, okay, just like the one, the Tao cannot be described. It transcends understanding, but can be experienced through living in harmony with its flow. Find the flow to find eternal life. So, what's in all of this stuff for you? And this is where things get practical. These traditions aren't just abstract ideas. They point us to a way of living that frees us from the restrictions of doctrines and dogmas and beliefs that hinder our spiritual progression, stop us from being living with love and kindness. These global teachings share the core of the truth. All of these, they share the core of the truth that each of us is made in the core of our being of the ultimate goodness itself, capital U, capital G. Collectively, these global teachings have nothing to do with belief. They're unbelievable. It's not about belief. In the Gospel of John, Jesus says to God about us, about people, make them one as you and I are one. Jesus was asking for us to experience the singleness as he experienced it, which is what I want. And this is just an aside. So look at what religious beliefs have brought about in current American politics. This isn't about belief. This is about connecting to the direct divine. And as the rabbi said, you don't have to be a mystic or a scholar to experience this. It's available to everyone. And you don't need a near-death experience either to realize this. And if you're here now with me, with us, in our little community, our niche group, then likely you've had some spiritually transformative experience that's left a mark on you in a way that you can feel and grow. And you can, in this vibe with a capital V, that we can share right now and every day of our lives with everyone around us, even in small ways. So through single-minded practices like meditation, whichever style suits you, whatever it is, however you do it, in physical body, mental action, in action in the world, we learn to live in alignment with the transcendent and immanent reality flow everywhere there is, as we learn to quiet our minds through our breath. And we can strive, connect, and achieve living in a peaceable presence inside us. And I have a little story about that in a minute. We can have immediate access to eternal life, living in a bubble of heaven on earth that I've talked about, which changes. And I know that somebody here today is experiencing that this week, this last month. We had a conversation about it. It becomes a reality for us and changes how we interact with the world. It's not, I mean, it's almost like magic. Mystical experiences, whether ancient or modern, aren't reserved just for saints or mystics. They're available to everyone who seeks them. And so this is a little story for you. I had call to jury duty this week, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But I don't know why this. Well, I have an idea why this is. But I've been in this courthouse before. It's my county courthouse, and whenever I've walked into the county courthouse to sit down, as soon as I step in the door, and there was maybe 120 people in there, I guess, all potential jurors out of a pool of 300 of us, and as I walked in, oh my gosh, my heart started pounding. I'm like, "What is this?" And I'm walking in and my heart's pounding and pounding, and I see a seat and I go sit up in the gallery and my heart's pounding away and pounding away. I'm like, "What is I shouldn't be afraid. What am I afraid?" I feel fear. I'm feeling this fear and I'm feeling all these overpowering emotions. And I don't know what it is. And I'm like, yeah. So I set myself up and I began to meditate. And my heart's still pounding, and I'm kind of trying to control my mind and my breath. And I find I'm controlling my breath. And as I control my breath, after a period of time, maybe 5 minutes, my heart quiets down, and I meditate and I become quiet. Practical aspect of the practice of meditation, and I realized that. And when I said this to somebody, I realized, oh my God, this sounds crazy to this person I'm talking to. But I was feeling all the fear and all the struggle and all the upset that everyone was feeling in the room. But more than that, it felt like the room itself had this vibration of fear. All of the trials and all of the trauma that gets brought forth in a criminal case, murders and robberies and all the terrible things. The room was just permeated with it. And it was only through my calming of myself that my heart rate went down. That kind of thing is a little bit different than mysticism that's available to all of us, but it's an aspect that of meditation that one can learn to control one's heartbeat, slow it down. I'm like not making it do a jazz rhythm or syncopated something or other, but I just kind of slow it down. And it felt to me as I did this that I expanded inside the room. And there was a moment, it was only a moment, when everything suddenly went quiet. And then I'm like, oh, it's quiet. And then, of course, the quiet went away. That's my little talk this morning. Thanks for being here. Thank you all for being here this morning. It's been very nice for you showing up here at Not Church Live and by recording. We are a niche and global community of spiritually transformed people. And you can join us live for our Mystic Tea Salon conversation at the top of the hour, where you can share your mystical experiences in a safe space and talk about these things. Talk about what it is to live as a mystic in the world, a spiritually transformed person. Talk about the things you can't talk about to other people. I tried to talk about this to someone. I shouldn't have talked about what happened in the courthouse. Should have kept my mouth shut about it. But after the eyes got wide, they quieted down, and I was like, well, I don't know if it was really the fear in the room or not, but it felt like that. I know that it was because I could feel it. Anyway, you can find the link in the description, and there are more details available at peterpanagore.love to find out what we're doing there. And we also meet for Mondays meditation and Wednesdays right here at 8 a.m. And we will be here tomorrow morning at Monday live because I don't have any court date tomorrow. I've posted 2 polls on YouTube, and I'd love to see what you think. Would you like me to return to our explorations of mystical Jesus or stay with global mysticism or some mix? That's one of the polls. And the other one is, are my talks too intellectual? I feel like I finally have a place to be like use my mind, and I'm afraid that I'm like too deep. Too. So there's 2 polls. I'd love to hear your responses. Please do. So here's the jury thing. I needed to I needed to show up for jury duty last Friday, October 4th, until they say until November 1st, or until tomorrow evening, Monday, October 7th. When I call the courthouse tomorrow to see if they picked my number, but I doubt that they're going to pick me. The questionnaire we filled out on Friday at the courthouse after I calmed myself down was all about domestic violence and our involvement in it. And I've been deeply involved in family, in organizations, in rescuing people in all sorts of ways, all sorts of ways. So, chances are they're not going to pick me because I'm up to my eyebrows in domestic violence things. So pretty much chances are I'm not going to be needed. And in any case, there's only one case coming through. And it's on this week on Thursday and Friday. Somebody pled guilty last week, and that was the end of that case. The domestic violence gun thing that happened. And so chances are I'm going to be here all month and make it to the retreat in Connecticut at the end of the month. So no problem there. Even if I get called to jury duty, I'll still be at the retreat. Tuesday morning's Kriya Yoga class is up in the air a little bit. If my number does get called, then I have to show up in court on Tuesday, but I'll let you all know by email. So if you're not signed up for our emails, please sign up for our emails, especially if you're going to the Kriya class on Tuesday morning. Like I said, I doubt that they're going to call me. So that's that. Peace and love. I'm going to take a breath here. Someone told me the other day, Peter, you get too excited about this stuff. Do I get too excited about this stuff? Like I can finally talk about it. I'm going to take a trip over here to the chat. The link from Mystic Tea Salon is in the Zoom. Is in the Zoom. Yes, it is, but it's in the description below. It's in the Zoom on the Facebook. Anyway, here we go. Good morning, KT, Ariane. I love that everyone can connect to the divine. They really can. It's not that hard. It's only the only thing in our way is our mind, and we can do this internally through our meditative practices, whatever they are, or you can do it with karma yoga, as we talked about. And karma yoga is basically living love and kindness in the world that you are in. That's really all it is. Doing good works. That really is it. And that can connect you directly to the divine. And also joy and worship can also do it too. For me, it's the action and the meditation, the yoga meditation life. Martin would love to understand more on the core of the mystery of the light emerging from the darkness. Well, maybe we'll talk about that next Sunday. More about that now that we kind of set this up. Yeah, let me make a note of that so I don't forget, because you know what? I will forget. That is one of the things I'm very good at. Did you know that I excel at forgetting? I'm very good. When they give the tests as a kid on remembering and forgetting, I always excelled at the forgetting part. So more on core mystery of light emerging from darkness. Okay. Great. Let's see. Yep. Ellen says, yeah, I know what you're saying there, Ellen. I felt that too when I was called to jury duty. The room was filled with fear and so was everyone in it. Yeah, that's like overwhelming. I couldn't believe that nobody else was like trying to calm themselves down, but the whole place was vibing with it. I'm glad to hear it wasn't just me, Martha. That actually is super helpful because, mystics are kind of weirdos in the general population. And I embrace my weirdness according to the population. But for me, it's total sanity. It's not weird. It's sane. But thanks for saying so, Martha. I appreciate that. The vibe of a location is a very real thing, says Jen. Yeah, for sure it is. Yes, indeed. Especially when it's a bad vibe. It's like, whoa, you can feel that. Interesting you say that, because I feel we have turned life into a courtroom with our beliefs, religions, and dogmas. You're either good or bad. You either go to heaven or hell. Ariana, that's exactly what we've done. And it's because of belief, and it's because of power. It's because of power. It's control. For sure. That is, you are right. And it expresses itself in our political religio dynamic. Take from that what you will. Hospital rooms, waiting rooms, the same thing. Oh, yeah. Hospital waiting rooms, absolutely the same thing. And obviously, we've all been in them. But life isn't a courtroom, and it isn't a classroom. And oh, wait a minute, it skipped. That is not what it said. I think it said life is not a courtroom, but it is a classroom. The whole thing just jumped, and I lost my place. But life isn't a courtroom; it's a classroom, and we aren't here to be judged, and here to evolve and grow. Exactly. There have been many times in my meditation that I have realized that something has changed only to have it slip away. Tom, it will stay, Tom. It will stay. It's a process of, one step forward, two steps back. One step forward, two steps back. Or rather, 3 steps forward, 1 step back. I like that better. 3 steps forward, 1 step back. I'm not too deep. Well, thanks, Martha, for saying so. I'd love to know that that's true, because I think that that's what's driving people away from my channel. I think it's like, where this guy, he's way too deep. But thanks for saying so. The perfect amount of excited. Thanks, Ellen. I'm going to turn on the birds again because I hear them out there. There we go. There's the blue jay. Not too intellectual or too deep. You in this community is where I've come to look deeply. Please don't dumb it down. Thanks, Judy. I don't want to dumb it down. I don't want to. You can't make me. Yes, people could. If I was like, well, actually, I don't want to. And so thanks for saying that. Not too deep. If you're sensing a drift from listeners, I guess balance global and local. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to try to do, Martin. A little bit more of the balance. We are neighbors. Holly and Ariana are neighbors. Greetings. Tamara, thank you. You're welcome. I love you guys too. The time goes by too fast here. You are a wonderful person, Peter. Oh, thank you very much. It's not me, okay? It's the light itself, and you too. We love you. Thank you. Time goes by too fast. Brother Ed, mystical experiences, OBEs and NDEs, SDEs, and encounter intuitions from Hindu masters Radha Somani, Sadhguru, and Vishnu and Ayans. I encourage all to learn the art of meditation. Amen to that. Ascending Leo, meditation has been the gateway to the divine. It's totally the gateway to the divine. And I know it's hard to do. It's difficult to practice, and it takes ritualization and dedication and showing up when it's not working, but it totally does work. Follow your curiosity. You are the magic. Oh, thanks, Ellen. Blue Jay concurs. Blue Jay, dig the Blue Jay, JF. I'm gonna keep doing that. I didn't realize you guys could hear that. I've been shifting my system around and trying to make improvements over here on the tech end. I don't mean a perfect person, but a perfect agent for sharing the wonders of mysticism. Totally, KT, I'm not a perfect person. I know that. Yes. Ask anyone who knows me. Knows me well, my family for one. But yeah, thanks. I'm doing my best with this mysticism thing, and I've been trying to do this for the whole of my life. This is the thing I've been after. I'm like, I want to do a comparative study so that everybody can know that these things are the same everywhere, and maybe help free people from the prison of their mind. The prison of the mind is the container that holds us in place, and it's worse. It's made worse by religiosity and belief dogmas. And the way to free that, of course, is to gain control of your thinking through meditation. All right, my friends, you come here for the intellectual discourse, Amy. Excellent. Thank you for saying so. Thank you for your great approach to finding the beautiful path to him. Amen. All right. We only have a couple minutes. Let's meet at Mystic Tea Salon. Link is in the description. And see you soon. I'll turn it on. I'll be a minute or so late. Peace and love to you all. Peace and love to you all. Thanks for being here. Super appreciate it. See you soon.